While the Felicity Ace was on fire and sinking in the ocean, the composer was calling Mayday and that they were going to abandon ship due to rough seas. Apparently, the boat was doing this. I don't expect anyone to cry for me with my new Porsche 911 not making it across the ocean. However, everyone heard about the Felicity Ace, the ship that had Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Audis, Porsches that caught fire due to the EV batteries in some of the electric cars. I think it started. The rumor is it started in the Volkswagen ID4, like their SUV. That's the rumor. I'm not sure if that's true or not. And spread throughout the boat. Now, at that time in March, I think it was, my car was scheduled for a late March, early delivery. I ordered a 2022 911 Turbo non-S, but all the fixings, ceramic brakes, everything. I was super excited to get this car. Someone sends me, hey, was your car on this boat? What are you talking about? So I look at the news. I'm like, oh, wow, there's a boat on fire in the ocean off the coast of Portugal. It's called the Felicity Ace. They're like, oh, we're trying to, put the fire out and hopefully some of the cars are okay. And I'm looking at some of the video and like the sides, the hull of the boat is black. Like whatever is inside of there is not salvageable. A couple guys I knew had cars in that boat. And I'm like, oh, it's too bad my car wasn't on that boat. Like real lucky, right? Because the first thing I did was Porsche's pretty cool. They have the Porsche Connect app and you can actually see where your car is from the time that it was, ordered to scheduled to be built, to being built and sitting at the port. I mean, you can literally look at a map and your car's sitting at port. First thing I did was open my phone. I'm like, oh, look, my car is sitting at port. I said, okay, so my car's not on the Felicity Ace, but it's going to be put on the next boat called the Composer, the SFL Composer. So a couple other friends of mine, also another friend had a GT3 on that boat. Someone else I knew had a Lamborghini going to be on that boat. So we're like, oh, our cars are coming over together. How cool is that? The boat lands at port. I can see on the app that the car was in Rhode Island. I'm like, all right, the car's probably 2 to 3 weeks from the dealer. I started moving some money around. I pulled some money out of an investment account, this, that, and the other thing. I said, hey, to a buddy of mine who does like clear film and window tint, I'm like, hey, probably like late April, like this is what I want to do. I want to add this. I want to add that. I want to look into a tune. The whole reason why I ordered a Turbo non-S was I basically ordered an S, but with everything that an S would have, but minus 60 horsepower. And my thought was, oh, I'll just tune the car and I'll save $28,000. Like, this is great. Like, nothing like trying to scam the system, right? So I get everything a Turbo S has. I'm just missing the 60 horsepower, which I can fix like this with a tune. So getting everything all lined up, like 3-4 weeks go by, and I'm like, man, where is my car? Like, my friend who had his GT3 on the boat, he was already burning gas. I've seen the car 3 times. Like, I want my car. Like, I want, like, this is like, it's now April. Car driving season in the Northeast is just firing up. Like, I want to get my car, get the film put on it, get it ready to go. And the whole reason why I purchased the 911 Turbo was for my daughter. I now have a 14-month-old daughter, and my thought was, okay, I've always owned Audi R8s. I want to put the seat in the back for my daughter. So we're going to have a nice summer together. And I ordered the special like $500 seat, so that my daughter could go in the back if my wife thinks I'm nuts. But put the whole thing in. I have everything for the car, and I get this email that says, your order has been placed. Like, my order's been placed. Now, at the same time of ordering my 911 back in August 2021, I ordered a Cayenne for my wife. She's in a Macan. I wanted something a little bit bigger, so I ordered a Cayenne e-hybrid, get the EV tax credit, all those different things. Here I am thinking I'm getting the email that my wife's Cayenne now is going to be going into production. So I open up the phone and it's, your order is in place. So I send a screenshot to the general manager of our Porsche dealership, and he says to me, Chris, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. Let me get to the bottom of it. So he calls me back. He goes, I got bad news. He said, your car was totaled on the ship. I go, no, my car wasn't on the ship that sank. My car was on the SFL Composer. And he says, yeah, I know. He said, but while the Felicity Ace was on fire and sinking in the ocean, the Composer was calling Mayday and that they were going to abandon ship due to rough seas. Apparently the boat was doing this. So my car was on the top deck, not the outside top deck, but whatever the top deck is inside. And apparently the majority of the cars on the top deck were destroyed. A couple of them got loose in the rough seas. So I'm not sure if my car was the bowling ball or one of the pins, but it wasn't like a little bit of bumper damage or something. It was completely destroyed. I'm still trying to get the Porsche rep to track down some photos for me and figure out what's going on, but they were never able to get photos. I would like to keep the VIN and see if it pops up like a Copart or something like that, but I haven't been able to find it yet. I'm like a bit devastated because, man, I had a whole summer of driving and stuff that I'm gonna do with this. You can't go out and buy a turbo or a Turbo S because they're $50, $60, $70, $80,000 over window sticker to buy one. Never mind a GT3, it's $100,000 over window sticker. So I'm like, I sold my R8 already, which I thought I did really well on. I probably could have kept it longer and I would have done even better on, but that's neither here nor there. I said, okay, well, I'll just order a new one. When will it be in? Oh, it'll be in July. Okay, great. Now, remember I said earlier that I kind of scammed the system in building a Turbo S missing 60 horsepower. Well, pretty much all the things that were Turbo S-ish that I put on the car are now on constraint because of parts constraints at Porsche. So they're saving ceramic brakes, Porsche dynamic chassis control, all of these things for Turbo S's and GT3s because they don't have enough of them to fulfill those orders. So I'm like, all right, well, this was the whole reason I ordered this car this way. Like, oh, well, we'll order your Turbo S. Okay, sounds good. When can I have that? Oh, you'll have that in 2023. I'm like, but wouldn't just my Turbo non-S be 2023 now as well? Yeah, I ordered another 911 Turbo non-S, but this time I went kind of nuts. I did a PTS NATO olive, a green color, a few other nice little leather things that I didn't do on the last one. The original one was going to be just a regular Gentian blue, well-optioned car, but the original car was like, well, I'll drive for 6 months and I'll get rid of it, probably make a couple bucks. This car is, okay, I've waited so long, I'm going to order it exactly how I want it and keep it as long as I possibly can. Again, I don't expect anyone to feel bad for me that my 911 didn't make it across the Atlantic unscathed, but it's just crazy to see what's actually happened from a supply chain standpoint. There are dealerships that did not get cars basically from the middle of March until May. So they didn't have new cars to sell. Porsche dealerships, Audi dealerships, Lamborghini dealerships, when there was already constraints on parts and cars and them just not having enough cars to sell in the first place. So mind you, they're trying to replace these cars and add them into rotation, but all they're doing is hurting the next guy that their car is now even further delayed. But again, the Felicity Ace that everyone knew about that sank, there was 5,000 cars on that boat, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's like 1 month's allocation for all the dealers that were going to be on that Audi, Porsche, Bentley, Volkswagen. That's 1 month of cars that they now can't sell, right? And on top of that, when the second boat situation happened, it was all 911s. All 911s. So all these guys with these special ordered, even Matt Farah from the Smoking Tire, his car was on the Felicity Ace with a very special, I think, Boxster that he built. It wasn't like you just go out and buy that car again. These were PTS 911s. These were, specific GT3s and Turbo S's, or even just, a regular 911 that someone ordered that was their dream car. And now they've got to wait that much longer. I know it was a large enough number that for our Porsche dealership, I think there were 18 missing cars, but there's another Porsche dealership that's in the Boston area that I think lost 42 on the second ship. Now, this was after already losing 60, 70 cars the month prior. So if you think about that for a second, for that dealership that I'm talking about, there are over 100 cars removed from what they were going to sell in a 2 to 3 month period. That's technicians that weren't able to prep those cars. That's salespeople that weren't able to sell those cars. There's a whole trickle-down effect that affects supply chain and economy and people's livelihoods. And never mind, think about some of the Volkswagens and the Audis, the same thing. It's just such a trickle-down effect. And we watched the 911 prices just kind of continue upward after that. The other supply chain piece to all of this is Panameras, Cayennes, Caymans, and Macans. Their wiring harnesses were all built in the Ukraine. Not only did they lose all these cars at sea on one boat, then all these other cars were damaged on the next boat. Now all of a sudden, wiring harnesses that are made in the Ukraine for 65% of Porsche cars are no longer available. And you just think of how connected we are globally and how much it affects everything. And it's really put quite the burden on the system as a whole from an automotive standpoint.
When you get a ticket, no matter where it happens, it's more important than ever to fight every one. And the perfect partner in that fight is the Ticket Clinic. When you get a ticket, you're facing costly insurance premium increases, points on your license, fines, risk of suspension, jail time, and they can help you avoid all of that. They've got offices in Florida and in California, but they can help you fight a ticket through their network of attorneys no matter where in the United States you get one. You can text a picture of your ticket to 305-305, or you can check them out now at the link in the description below. So thank them for their support of VinWiki, of CarTrek, and fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.